Hello all, once again. Good morning from Banner Elk, North Carolina. And this morning, as I said yesterday, we're trying to see some different things on this trip, go to some different places, and try not to make it all the same thing. Well, we are going to a repeated place here on the channel, and especially when we take this trip. We're now on our way to Beech Mountain, which, if you can see here in front of us just a few seconds ago, and we'll see it again here in a second, is completely engulfed in the clouds right there ahead of us. So gonna be an interesting drive up there for sure, but we kind of have planned to do something else up there that we've never done before, at least not here. And that's the plan, at least, just to try something new while we're there, rather than going to the same places over and over, doing the same things over and over again. So join us, if you will, as we ascend to the top of Beech Mountain. Hello all. Where would you like to ride today? The countryside? How about the city? Maybe a mountain forest? Or a sandy beach? No matter how far away, or in our own backyard, I hope you'll ride along. Alright, so you may be wondering why we're at a ski resort in August. Well, Beech Mountain Ski Resort actually offers scenic lift rides in the summer, as a lot of them do actually. But what makes this one so special, as I've mentioned before on the channel, Beech Mountain is actually the highest incorporated town in the eastern United States. The closest town that's any higher is somewhere in New Mexico, I want to say. I can't remember exactly where. And that makes this the highest ski lift in the eastern United States. Now, it's not that high off the ground, really, as you can see, but it is the highest in elevation in Eastern America. So we're just going to ride this on to the top and see what we can see from the very top of Beech Mountain. So we have finally reached the top of Beech Mountain, over 5,500 feet in the air. So to ask the question, what we've been missing all this time, this view. So now on the back side of the mountain here, you can see Grandfather Mountain completely surrounded in the clouds now. Over here, Sugar Mountain Ski Resort with that ugly eyesore of a condominium, whatever that is, complex up there. And way down here in the valley, you can see the town of Banner Elk. So, being that it's summertime and no snow, really the only thing to do once you get to the top is mountain bike down or just enjoy the scenery as we did. But I will say that the ride down is far more beautiful than the ride up. So with that, I'll let you enjoy the entirety of the ride down. So even if ski lifts aren't your thing, the drive to the top of Beech Mountain is always beautiful. And as you can see, some of the leaves are actually starting to change already, and it's just like the third week of August right now. So, you know, it's naturally much higher elevation up here. Had a little bit of a cool down here a couple weeks ago, and it's really not that hot today either, kind of like yesterday. But leaves are starting to change a little bit early here, and so, you know, this time of year, even when mostly everything's still green, still a beautiful drive to the top. And I'm certain it is in the winter time as well. I've never been up here in the snow, but I would love to ride that ski lift again to see everything covered in snow. But as I asked earlier what we were missing, you know, all these times coming to Beech Mountain and never really going anywhere, that's actually the first time the resort has been open that we've been up here, because it's always usually late summer, sometimes very early fall, but it's typically middle of the week. We're here on a Thursday now, and so finally got to experience that. Definitely well worth it. It was only $15 a person. Like I said, no, there really wasn't a lot to do once you got up there, but $15 for that experience, I think, was well worth it. Going atop the highest ski lift east of the Rockies, and, you know, really getting to see pretty much in every single direction, just mountains surrounding you as far as the eye can see. But we're going to ride on down the road a little ways, take some roads I've never been down before, and see what sights they have to offer, and hopefully be able to do a little more hiking today. Maybe we can stay ahead of these storms, because where we're planning to go today is much higher than we were yesterday, much higher than we just were, and that's not where I want to be in the middle of a lightning storm. So, enjoy the ride. So, riding through the little town of Newland right now. Actually come this way because I remembered a while back about there being this little park. It's called like Waterfall Park, something like that. And we just drove by the thing. There was really nothing to it. I mean, there was a bench and a dried up waterfall there. So, and I didn't really bother spending our time there. Well, an interesting thing this town does have is a Radio Shack. Now, if you've watched my channel any length of time, you know I am a Radio Shack alumni, but all the corporate Radio Shacks, which the one I worked at was corporate, are all gone. So any Radio Shacks you see are just going to be franchise stores. So they're pretty much just using the Radio Shack name, selling really whatever they want to in there. But I still find it really interesting when I see them here and there. And it's really all the times I do see them, it's in these little mountain towns like this. I think there's also still one in Lenore. There's a couple out in Tennessee, I think, still. But still pretty interesting. But as it looks, I believe that was the entirety of the town of Newland. just now passing the town of Spruce Pine, North Carolina, and approaching this mountain here. Looks like they're doing some mining or something up there. Not sure what, but looks like there ain't much of a mountain left. But here soon we are going to begin our ascent to the top of Roan Mountain. Hopefully missing the rain, but I guess we'll see. So we have finally reached the top of Roan Mountain. Well, not quite the very top, but here along the ridge, approaching the rhododendron gardens here. And I could say it is significantly cooler up here than it was down at the foot of the mountain. Probably, I don't know, probably maybe mid to high 50s right now. Feels amazing. Standing here at over 6,200 feet in elevation, we're just going to stretch our legs here real quick before we really start to hike. See what this little trail has to offer. So our aim today here is 3 fairly short trails. The first one being out here to the Roan Bluff. Now so far, the terrain and the surroundings up here is very reminiscent of our hike to the top of Mount Rogers last summer. Just covered in this mossy spruce forest. So as you can see, we have made it to the top of Roan High Bluff, though in the pouring down rain. Looks like they're having a nice time down there, though. So unfortunately, the rain kind of put a damper on the rest of our hiking for today, and being as that we are over 6,000 feet in elevation, we are pretty much the highest things right now in the area. So it's been lightning here, like we just did right there. Don't know if you could see that, but yeah, it's been lightning the last 10 minutes. We got stuck out in it on our way back. Got soaking wet, but really don't need to be up here in the middle of a lightning storm. So anyways, we're gonna make our way back down the mountain here. We're straddling the Carolina-Tennessee line. Gonna make our way into Tennessee. But before we do, I really always kind of had a fascination with this mountain. And I say always, about the last 12 years or so. Someone loaned me a book one time, and I think I've mentioned that book before, that talks about these ghost stories and legends of the Western Carolina mountains. And I found one of the creepiest stories in that book took place here on top of Roan Mountain. There used to be a hotel up here called the Cloudland Hotel, which was not far from where we just were in that parking lot. And the story goes there was a man up here, and he was staying at the hotel, and he went out hiking one day, and much like us, got caught out in a storm. So he found a cave to seek shelter from the storm, and while he was in that cave, he claims that he found the portal to hell in that cave, hearing these screams and moans and everything coming from inside of this cave. And he fell into something, and I don't remember exactly how it goes, and he finally woke up outside the cave a few hours later, or at the mouth of the cave. crawled out and told everyone his story. Now, any truth behind it? Who knows, probably about as true as any of the ghost stories in that book. But since then, I've always found it kind of creepy, and I've wanted to make my way up here since reading that. We're now entering the state of Tennessee, making our descent from Roan Mountain. So we were going to make a quick stop at the Roan Mountain State Park, little visitor center there. But as we were walking in at 4:15, they literally closed the doors as we got up to them at 4:15. So, thought at least we have a few minutes there, but oh well. We're going to go ahead and make our way on up towards probably Johnson City area and start making our way back home. Out of Johnson City, Tennessee. Had a nice, healthy supper from Crystal in our car, and that's about it. Here on I-26, about to hit I-81, just a few minutes, and take us on back to our home state of Virginia. So I'd like to thank you for joining me on this trip once again. And again, what have we been missing all this time? Well, we experienced the highest ski lift in the East. We hiked to a couple of new mountain peaks. Got caught out in a storm. I made a very foolish mistake of hiking a trail that I had no business being on. So some learning experiences this time. Definitely want to hit Roan Mountain back up to try to hike the rest of those trails, and definitely probably make our way back out here or out this way again next year. So again, thank you for joining me on this On the Road with Vincent journey, and I will see you all all next time.